Char from Sun and Grace Mercantile. My goal for the next 6 months is to start going live more. I used to go live all the time, and then just kind of after the fire and mom dying, I got out of going live. So I'm going to start doing little tutorials. And today I thought I would talk about UV resin versus two-part resin, because we have started using UV resin a lot. I do use two-part resin sometimes, but mostly right now we're using UV resin, and I like it because it travels faster. So if you pop on here, say hey. And I'm going to kind of go over some of the uses for the different resins. Like if you use a two-part resin, which you'd find a two-part resin comes in clear bottles, and they're labeled A and B, and you have to mix them together. You stir them and they kind of get cloudy, and you keep stirring them until they go clear, and then you try to get the bubbles out. There's a company called Resin that makes a really good vacuum to pull those bubbles out, but the expense is there. And you can use it without that vacuum pump, but you kind of need to use heat to get the bubbles out of the two-part resin. And two-part resins take at least 24 hours to dry. You can just get a regular two-part resin, or you can get two-part resins for deep pours. So like if you're doing cutting boards and you need that really deep insert, you want those, and those take a lot longer to dry. But with us and the fact that we travel and we do events, we're trying to teach classes in like 60 minutes and stuff. We use a UV resin, and the UV resin is cured in under a UV light, similar to the lights that you see when you go to get your nails done. If it lights up, I don't have this one plugged in, but it lights up, you put your nails in it, and it dries the gel on your nails. So very similar. I use one of these, which this is 2 pieces, so we actually will sell these on our website. But I like these because you get 2 lights for the price of 1, and you can put it together. It has a little shelf in it, so if you're doing something like jewelry, or you're doing, we do our sun catchers, it will cure it from the top and the bottom if it's see-through, and I like that. And then if we're doing a larger piece, like when we go to pinners, hey Virginia, how are you? I can't wait, aren't I seeing you in a month or so? If we're doing a larger piece, like at our Christmas in July, we're going to do a larger piece. Actually, it's bigger than this. It's longer. You can take 2 of these and kind of set them over. You can set them down over the top of it and cure it. And it only takes, UV resin only takes 2 minutes to cure, maybe 3 minutes if you've got if it's really thick. But the way you'll tell that it's a UV resin is it's in a black bottle, because it can't be exposed to light. Because as soon as you expose it to light, it starts to cure, and that process will go pretty quickly. So as opposed to the two-part resin that you have to mix, and you really have to mix it for 3 to 5 minutes until you get that clear consistency, and try to mix it without bubbles and get the bubbles out, and then you pour it. You have to let that dry for 24 to 48 hours and hope that you don't have any bleed through. But with the UV resin, for smaller projects, you can just pour it on and cure it, and it cures within 2 minutes. Sometimes on these, where the glass is thicker, I might do like 3 minutes. And the only thing that you want to look at is that you want to make sure that your resin says crystal clear, and you kind of want to read the reviews on it, because lots of people make the resin, and you just want to make sure that it's not going to yellow over time. And the other little trick that I have, and this is for whether you are using 2-part resin or UV resin, alcohol pads or just alcohol and wipes work really well for the uncured resin to get it off of your hands, or maybe it's in a spot that you don't want it. You can do that. And the other thing, which I don't think that you can really see in the video, but the other thing that I do is I put down press and seal. You can use a silicone mat. If you have a silicone mat, if the resin hardens on it, it will just peel off. But I just use press and seal, and then I pick it up and throw it away. And so that's really nice. But primarily when you come to our events right now, we're going to be using UV resin just because it cures and people want to be able to travel with it. And I like it a lot better. And I like it for jewelry. We'll make jewelry pieces out of it. It does really well. So, whoops, dropped my phone. Sorry. So, that's all I wanted to talk about today was the UV resin versus the 2-part resin. Both are really good. It depends on what you're using them for. If you're doing a larger project, you know, like maybe you're doing an 8x10 project or larger, not a small 6x6, I wouldn't go more than 6x6 for the UV resin. If you're doing a big project, you want to pour that with a 2-part resin and just take the time for it to cure and have a space for it to cure. So, that's it for now. I'll be uploading this to our YouTube channel, so you can go over to YouTube and start following us. That's where I'm going to be keeping our DIY tutorials and our little videos over there, and it's just Southern Grace Mercantile on YouTube. And I'm going to talk to you soon. We'll be posting. We've got Christmas in July coming up. In Oak Ridge, it's July 11th and 12th. And in Texas, it's the 28th and 29th. So we hope to see you soon. Bye.